Humanity's journey is one of seeking connection, understanding, and harmony. Yet in our pursuit of control and power, some have turned to paths shrouded in darkness, paths that promise influence but bring ruin. Black magic, at its core, is a manifestation of humanity's deepest fears and desires. It stems from an illusion, the belief that we can bend the fabric of life to our will without consequence. This illusion fractures our unity, severs our connection to nature, and plunges us into cycles of destruction. Today, let us explore how this dark practice not only harms individuals but deeply wounds the collective spirit of humanity. The desire to control life's unpredictable nature is as old as humanity itself. From the earliest days, people sought to shape their environments, master the forces of nature, and command their destinies. But this yearning for control, while understandable, often leads to a dangerous path, the belief that one can dominate reality entirely. Black magic is one of the most extreme manifestations of this illusion, offering promises of power and control but delivering devastation instead. It lures individuals with the seductive idea that they can manipulate the very essence of existence to their liking, bending circumstances, people, and events to their will. However, what it truly provides is a distorted sense of power that disrupts both the inner self and the larger web of life. The core of the illusion lies in the misunderstanding of power. True power is not the ability to dominate or manipulate, it is the ability to align oneself with the natural flow of life, to understand and work in harmony with its rhythms. Black magic subverts this principle, offering shortcuts that seem to bypass the natural order. These shortcuts, however, are inherently flawed because they arise from a place of separation rather than unity. The individual who seeks to control the world through dark means is, in essence, declaring themselves separate from it, rejecting their role as a participant in the grand, interconnected dance of existence. This perceived separation is the first step towards spiritual and emotional alienation. The illusion of control also stems from a deeper psychological root fear. Fear of uncertainty, fear of loss, and fear of vulnerability drive people to seek mechanisms that promise certainty and security. Black magic exploits these fears, preying on the human desire for assurance in a chaotic world. When faced with situations where outcomes seem uncontrollable, be it a failing relationship, financial hardship, or an unresolved grievance, individuals may turn to dark practices, hoping to impose their will on the situation. Yet this attempt to overpower life's inherent unpredictability only deepens their entanglement in suffering. Instead of resolving their fears, they amplify them, creating a cycle of dependency on external forces to maintain the illusion of control. The effects of this illusion ripple outward. When one person attempts to dominate another through black magic, they disrupt the delicate balance of relationships and community. Trust, the foundation of human connection, is eroded when actions are motivated by manipulation rather than authenticity. The practitioner may feel a fleeting sense of victory, but it comes at a cost: the alienation of those around them and the degradation of their own moral and spiritual integrity. Over time, this creates an ever-widening gulf between the individual and the collective, as their actions sow distrust, resentment, and disharmony. Moreover, the illusion of control through black magic extends beyond the personal realm, affecting the broader environment. Life operates as an intricate system of interconnected energies, where every action has consequences. By attempting to manipulate this system for personal gain, practitioners disrupt the natural flow, causing imbalances that can manifest as chaos, both seen and unseen. The universe, governed by principles of balance and reciprocity, inevitably seeks to restore equilibrium. This restoration often takes the form of consequences for those who have attempted to defy its laws, consequences that can be karmic, emotional, or even physical. What is most tragic about this illusion is that it blinds people to their true potential. The energy expended on controlling others or manipulating events could be channeled towards self-awareness, growth, and genuine empowerment. By succumbing to the allure of black magic, individuals forfeit the opportunity to cultivate inner strength and wisdom, instead becoming trapped in a cycle of dependency and fear. They may believe they are masters of their fate, but in truth they are ensnared by their own delusions, unable to see that real mastery comes not from control, but from surrender to life's flow. In the end, the illusion of control offered by black magic is just that, an illusion. It promises power but delivers pain, offering temporary satisfaction, while undermining the very foundation of what it means to be human. True fulfillment lies not in domination but in understanding, not in manipulation but in connection. Only by recognizing the futility of trying to control life through dark means can individuals begin to liberate themselves from the fear and separation that drive them down this destructive path. Fear is one of the most fundamental forces driving human behavior. It is a natural response to uncertainty, danger, or the unknown, designed to protect us from harm. Yet, when unchecked, fear becomes a corrosive influence, distorting perceptions and decisions. At the heart of black magic lies fear, fear of loss, fear of vulnerability, and fear of a world that feels chaotic and uncontrollable. This fear, when given too much power, becomes a root from which destructive actions and practices grow, ultimately harming not only the individual but humanity as a whole. When individuals feel powerless, fear takes hold. It whispers that life is unpredictable and unfair, and that the only way to navigate its uncertainty is through control and domination. Black magic preys on this vulnerability, presenting itself as a solution to overpower the forces that seem insurmountable. For someone consumed by fear, the idea of manipulating outcomes, gaining control over others, or exacting revenge becomes an appealing escape from feelings of helplessness. They turn to dark practices as a means of reclaiming the power they believe has been taken from them. However, this pursuit of power through black magic does not resolve fear, it exacerbates it. The act of invoking or practicing dark forces is inherently rooted in mistrust not only of others but of life itself. It assumes that the natural order is hostile or indifferent, and that manipulation is the only way to achieve security. This outlook isolates the practitioner, cutting them off from the greater flow of life and the comfort that comes from accepting its rhythms. Instead of building resilience or finding peace, they become trapped in a cycle of anxiety, always looking over their shoulder for retaliation or unforeseen consequences. Fear also distorts perspective, making people see threats where there are none or amplifying minor conflicts into perceived existential crises. This exaggerated perception leads individuals to justify actions they might otherwise find abhorrent. For instance, envy or jealousy, emotions rooted in fear of inadequacy or loss, can drive someone to use black magic to harm others. What begins as a simple insecurity spirals into a destructive act, creating harm that ripples outward. The practitioner, far from resolving their fears, only compounds them by adding guilt, paranoia, and the fear of karmic retribution to their emotional burden. On a broader level, fear is contagious. When fear motivates actions such as manipulation or harm, it spreads distrust and unease within a community. Relationships that once thrived on openness and mutual respect become tainted by suspicion and resentment. People begin to see one another as adversaries rather than allies, as potential threats rather than sources of support. This erosion of trust undermines the very fabric of human connection, creating a society that is fragmented and vulnerable to further manipulation. The fear that underpins black magic also reflects a deeper existential dread, the fear of mortality, impermanence, and the unknown. Life's uncertainties, its inevitability of change, can feel overwhelming. For some, the desire to escape this uncertainty manifests as a need to control it. Black magic offers an illusion of certainty, a way to impose order on what feels like chaos. Yet this approach is inherently flawed as it fights against the very nature of existence. Life is dynamic, ever-changing, and unpredictable. To resist this truth is to resist life itself, leading not to empowerment, but to further disconnection and despair. What makes fear so insidious in the context of black magic is that it masquerades as motivation for empowerment. Those who engage in these practices often believe they are taking control of their lives, overcoming their vulnerabilities, or exacting justice. Yet in reality they are feeding their fears, giving them greater control over their thoughts and actions. Instead of confronting and transforming their fears, they allow those fears to dictate their path, leading them deeper into darkness. The antidote to fear is not control but understanding. When fear is faced directly and understood for what it is, a natural but often exaggerated response, it begins to lose its grip. Instead of turning to manipulation or domination, individuals can learn to embrace uncertainty and trust in the larger flow of life. This shift requires courage, self-awareness, and the willingness to let go of the illusion of control. It is not an easy path, but it is the only one that leads to genuine freedom and peace. In the end, fear, while powerful, is not insurmountable. It thrives in darkness, where it is hidden and ignored, but it withers in the light of awareness and understanding. Black magic rooted in fear can only exist in a world where individuals feel disconnected and afraid. By choosing to face fear rather than be ruled by it, humanity can break free from the chains of manipulation and division, moving toward a future built on trust, connection, and harmony. The essence of humanity lies in connection, the intricate web of relationships that binds individuals to one another, to nature, and to the larger flow of existence. It is through these connections that we find meaning, growth, and a sense of belonging. However, black magic operates as a force that severs these bonds, isolating individuals from the natural harmony of life. This disconnection, though often subtle at first, spreads like a silent wound, affecting the practitioner, their targets, and the broader community in profound ways. At its core, black magic thrives on separation. It requires the practitioner to see themselves as distinct and apart from others, positioning them as a manipulator rather than a participant in the shared experience of life. This mindset fosters an illusion of superiority, where the individual believes they can control others or alter events without consequence. Yet this very act of control breaks the fundamental principle of interconnectedness. When someone seeks to dominate or harm another through dark practices, they are not only harming the target, but also severing their own ties to the collective energy that sustains life. This disconnection begins internally. To engage in black magic, one must suppress their innate empathy and compassion qualities that are essential for meaningful human connection. These emotions which bind us to one another are viewed as weaknesses in the pursuit of power. Over time, the practitioner becomes desensitized, losing touch with the human qualities that make relationships fulfilling and enriching. Instead of engaging with others authentically, they view relationships as tools or obstacles, further deepening their isolation. The effects of this disconnection extend outward, damaging the relationships the practitioner once held dear. Trust, the cornerstone of human connection, is eroded when actions are motivated by manipulation rather than honesty. Even if the practitioner's intentions are cloaked in secrecy, the energy of deceit and malice inevitably seeps into their interactions. Loved ones may not know the source of this change, but they sense the shift, leading to a growing rift in relationships. Over time, these bonds weaken, leaving the practitioner isolated not just emotionally, but also spiritually. Black magic also disrupts the natural connection between individuals and the broader environment. Life is an interconnected system where every action resonates, creating ripples that affect the whole. By attempting to manipulate this system for personal gain, practitioners interfere with the delicate balance that sustains harmony. This disruption is not confined to the immediate target, it reverberates through the collective energy, causing imbalances that manifest as chaos, conflict, or suffering in unexpected places. The practitioner, blinded by their desire for control, fails to see that their actions are not contained, they are part of a larger web that they are tearing apart. The severing of connection also impacts the practitioner's relationship with themselves. Engaging in dark practices creates an internal conflict, as the soul instinctively seeks unity while the mind pursues separation. This dissonance can manifest as guilt, anxiety, or a sense of emptiness that no amount of external control can fill. The more they try to dominate their surroundings, the more disconnected they become from their inner truth. This inner fragmentation leaves them vulnerable to feelings of alienation and despair, trapping them in a cycle of dependence on dark forces to fill the void. Moreover, the severing of connection through black magic exacerbates divisions within the community. When trust is broken and relationships are damaged, communities become fragmented. This fragmentation creates fertile ground for fear, suspicion, and conflict, further isolating individuals from one another. A divided community is easier to manipulate, as the bonds that once united its members have been weakened or destroyed. In this way, black magic not only harms the practitioner and their immediate surroundings, but also contributes to a broader atmosphere of disconnection and discord. What makes this severing so tragic is that it is entirely unnecessary. The power that practitioners seek through black magic, whether it be control, revenge, or influence, can often be found through authentic connection and mutual understanding. The energy expended on manipulation could instead be used to build bridges, heal wounds, and create harmony. By severing connections, practitioners deny themselves the deeper fulfillment that comes from being part of a unified whole. Ultimately, black magic's greatest harm lies in its ability to separate individuals from the very source of their humanity connection. It creates a world where relationships are transactional, trust is scarce, and isolation is the norm. Yet, even in the face of such disconnection, there is hope. The bonds that have been severed can be mended, and the energy that has been misused can be redirected toward healing. By choosing connection over control, unity over separation, humanity can overcome the isolating effects of black magic and return to the natural flow of life, a flow that thrives on harmony, trust, and mutual understanding. Every action we take has consequences, a ripple effect that extends far beyond what we can see or imagine. This is particularly true of actions born from malice or manipulation, such as those rooted in black magic. While such practices may seem to target a single person or situation, their effects spread much further, like stones dropped into still water, creating waves that disturb the balance of life. The ripple of destruction caused by black magic is not limited to the intended victim. It reaches into the lives of the practitioner, their community, and even the broader spiritual and natural realms. While black magic operates on the principle of interference, an attempt to force outcomes, manipulate energies, or harm others. This interference disrupts the natural harmony that underpins life, setting off a chain reaction of unintended consequences. For example, when someone uses dark practices to harm another, they may succeed in causing temporary damage, but they also unleash energies that spiral out of control. These energies do not stop at their intended target. They permeate the environment, affecting relationships, emotions, and circumstances in unpredictable ways. The practitioner may find themselves caught in the chaos they have created, as the destructive force they unleashed often circles back to them. One of the most insidious aspects of the ripple of destruction is its subtlety. The effects of black magic are not always immediate or dramatic. They often manifest gradually, spreading toxicity over time. A spell cast to harm someone may lead to discord in their personal life, but it also sows seeds of mistrust, anger, and resentment in those around them. These negative emotions can grow, leading to conflicts and divisions within families, friendships, and communities. The initial act of harm becomes a catalyst for broader dysfunction, affecting far more people than the original target. The practitioner themselves is not immune to the ripples they create. Engaging in acts of black magic requires a mindset rooted in fear, anger, or envy, emotions that corrode the soul and distort perception. Over time, the practitioner becomes entangled in the negative energies they have unleashed, often experiencing feelings of isolation, paranoia, or guilt. The harm they intended for others becomes a mirror, reflecting back the internal turmoil they sought to suppress. The very act of trying to control or harm others ends up consuming them, creating a cycle of destruction that is difficult to escape. Beyond the individual level, the ripple of destruction extends into the collective energy of humanity. Black magic thrives on division and negativity, weakening the bonds of trust and compassion that hold communities together. Each act of manipulation or harm contributes to an atmosphere of fear and mistrust, making it harder for people to connect and collaborate. This fragmentation erodes the collective strength of humanity, leaving it vulnerable to further manipulation and suffering. Even the natural world is not untouched by the ripple of destruction. Life operates as a balanced system, with every element connected to the whole. Acts of interference disrupt this balance, creating imbalances that can manifest in unexpected ways, such as environmental disturbances or shifts in collective well-being. The energy of harm and manipulation is inherently destabilizing, resonating far beyond its initial point of origin. The ripple of destruction is a reminder of the interconnectedness of all things. Actions rooted in harm and manipulation do not exist in isolation. They spread, affecting the practitioner, the target, and the world around them. Yet, just as harm creates ripples of destruction, healing and compassion can create ripples of restoration. By choosing actions that align with harmony and understanding, we can counteract the destructive forces of black magic and nurture a world built on connection and trust. Karma, the principle of cause and effect, teaches that every action generates a corresponding reaction, shaping the fabric of our lives. This universal law ensures that deeds, whether born of kindness or malice, return to their source, weaving a tapestry of experiences that reflect our choices. Black magic, with its intention to manipulate or harm, inevitably entangles those who wield it in the web of karma, binding them to the suffering they create. This entanglement is not merely a punishment, but a natural consequence of disrupting the balance and harmony that govern existence. When someone engages in black magic, their actions are rooted in negative emotions such as envy, anger, or fear. These emotions fuel intentions that seek to harm, control, or dominate, creating a vibration of negativity that resonates beyond the immediate act. In the karmic framework, such actions cannot exist in isolation. The energy sent out into the world, whether it is love or harm, must return to its source. For those who use black magic, this means that the pain they inflict on others will inevitably circle back to them, often magnified by the disruption they have caused. The entanglement begins with the intention itself. By choosing to act from a place of malice or manipulation, the practitioner aligns themselves with energies that are inherently discordant. This alignment creates a karmic imprint, binding the individual to the consequences of their actions. The harm they intend for others becomes a part of their own energetic field, influencing their thoughts, emotions, and circumstances. They may experience setbacks, conflicts, or suffering that mirror the harm they sought to inflict, as the universe seeks to restore balance through the principle of reciprocity. This karmic entanglement does not only affect the practitioner but also ensnares their target and others connected to the situation. The target of black magic may experience pain or difficulty as a result of the practitioner's actions, but their response to the situation also creates karma. If they react with anger, revenge, or despair, they too become entangled in the cycle, perpetuating the chain of negativity. The practitioner and the target become locked in a karmic loop, each action feeding into the next, creating a spiral of suffering that can extend across lifetimes. The ripple effect of karmic entanglement extends further, affecting the broader community and even future generations. Acts of black magic often stem from unresolved wounds or grievances which, if not addressed, can be passed down to others. For example, a practitioner's use of dark practices to gain power or exact revenge can create a legacy of fear, distrust, and conflict within their family or community. This legacy becomes a karmic inheritance, binding future generations to the unresolved energy of the original act. By breaking free from karmic entanglement requires a conscious effort to realign with harmony and understanding. The practitioner must confront the emotions and motivations that led them down the path of black magic, seeking to heal their wounds and transform their intentions. Acts of forgiveness, compassion, and self-awareness can begin to unravel the karmic bonds, allowing the individual to step out of the cycle of harm and into a state of balance. Similarly, the target of black magic can choose to respond with resilience and grace, refusing to perpetuate the cycle by seeking revenge or harboring resentment. Karmic entanglement serves as a profound reminder of the interconnectedness of all actions and their consequences. Black magic, with its intention to disrupt and harm, cannot escape this universal law. Yet within this truth lies hope. The same principle of karma that binds us to suffering also offers a path to liberation. By choosing actions rooted in love, understanding, and harmony, we can break free from the chains of karmic entanglement, creating a future that reflects the highest potential of our shared humanity. Healing is not merely the absence of harm or pain, it is the restoration of balance, the renewal of connection, and the reclamation of wholeness. For those who have been touched by the darkness of black magic, whether as practitioners, victims, or bystanders, the path to healing requires courage, introspection, and a deep commitment to transformation. It is a journey of unearthing wounds, understanding their origins, and consciously choosing to replace harm with harmony. This process is neither instant nor easy, but it holds the promise of liberation from cycles of fear, suffering, and karmic entanglement. The first step toward healing begins with awareness. For the practitioner, this means acknowledging the motivations that led them to engage in black magic. Acts of manipulation or harm often stem from unresolved emotions such as anger, envy, or fear. By bringing these emotions into the light of awareness, the individual can begin to understand their root causes. Perhaps they felt powerless in a situation, abandoned in a relationship, or wronged by another. Recognizing these feelings does not justify their actions, but provides a foundation for self-reflection and growth.